Good evening and welcome to the July 18th regularly scheduled East Long Meadow Board of Library Trustees meeting. I'm calling this meeting order right now. It's 6:01, and what I'd like to do is have a roll call done, and starting to my left, Melanie, if you would start.
Okay, Melanie Manheim.
Michael Gray.
Diane Tiago.
David Boucher.
Cindy McNaught.
Layla Johnston.
Okay, I just want to make a verbal note that this meeting is being both video and audio taped for future broadcast on LCAT. All right, so our first order of business are the meeting minutes of June 20th. And did everybody have the opportunity to read them? For those that see our meeting, what happens is we do have an opportunity to read them prior to coming in, so that we're not taking a valuable time here at the meeting. But is there any questions on it? Now would be a good time to discuss it. Anything? All right. I think everybody sounds like everybody's comfortable.
Yeah.
All right. So I need a motion to accept the minutes.
I will make a motion to accept the minutes
I'll second that motion.
from June 20th, 2018.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is guest opportunity to address the board. We do not have any guests in the room at this time, so I'm going to move on to the director's report, and we'll start with the narrative written report.
Thank you. Building maintenance. I met with a couple of members from Team Alex. Most of you are probably familiar with Alex Blaze and his family, East Long Meadow residents, and young Alex recently passed away. The team would like to donate and install a commemorative bench in his honor, and when we decided to place the bench near the north-facing entrance here. DPW has already approved of installation and mounting, and the town manager has approved of the design. So in September, we will have a dedication ceremony and a charitable event to coordinate with that. We were very touched and very honored that they thought of the library. His family are regular patrons here, and we're really looking forward to putting together an event in his honor.
Yeah, it would be really nice to honor him.
Yes, yeah, he was a lovely young man. He was
Yes,
a regular here.
really
Oh,
nice.
Ginny's here.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Here's her.
Ginny?
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Well, welcome,
Thank you.
Ginny.
Well, thank
Yeah. Layla has just started her.
Hello.
Mike.
How are you? Michael Gray.
All right.
So I was just explaining that Team Alex, with the approval of the Department of Public Works and the town manager, would like to honor him with a commemorative bench that we'll place here at the library. And so we've decided on the location near the north-facing doors. And in September, we'll have a dedication ceremony and a charitable event in his name. So we're looking forward to putting that together. Summer reading. The Children's Department is once again running our youth volunteer program in conjunction with summer reading. Youth in 5th grade and up are encouraged to volunteer for shifts in our Children's Department to help younger patrons with summer reading games and prizes. Parents have expressed appreciation for the program and report that they are thrilled that their child can work at the library as their first job, they call it.
It is a jump.
It is. Student volunteer training was held June 6th, June 12th, and June 14th, and we have a total of 112 youth volunteers this year. Nearly 500 people attended the library's summer reading kickoff event on June 21st. Thank you to Sean Santinello of Byron Entertainment right here in East Long Meadow. He provided music and announcements at no cost to the library. And also thank you to the Springfield Thunderbirds who sent Boomer for a meet and greet, even though it was hot that evening.
Oh, wow.
Everyone was thrilled. And thank you, of course, to LCAT for coming to record. Don was there. Registration for summer reading for our first 2 weeks. We have 957 children and 28 adults. We're trying a new method to monitor teen participation this year. Rather than register, which teens don't like to sign up, but they will participate if they don't have to sign up.
Right.
We're
I don't want
offering,
the stigma.
yeah, exactly. We're offering incentive scratch tickets when they check out a book or books. And so for each scratch ticket, it either has a small instant win prize, it could be a small bookmark or pencil type thing, and it qualifies as an entry for the grand prize of a Kindle Fire. We can then count registration and participation at the end of the program so that we know how many teens participated. CW Mars is now offering digital periodicals through Overdrive. Library patrons now have access to over 50 magazines through Overdrive, in addition to the library's subscription to RB Digital, which are our separate digital magazine database. Magazines can be read online or issues can be downloaded for offline access and reading. All magazines are purchased with simultaneous use licenses, meaning there are no holds or waiting periods, and issues are always available for reading.
Nice.
Should be good. And then lastly, our final upcoming event, other than continuing with our summer reading all through July, the library will be represented at the town's National Night Out on Tuesday, August 7th. National Night Out will be held at the East Long Meadow High School from 5:30 to 8 p.m. And we will distribute inexpensive totes, courtesy of the Friends, that contain information about library services. Should be a good time, and nearly every town department is participating.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that'll be a really good exposure for the library.
Yeah.
And it's a great community event.
And Layla, did you want to move on to the financial report?
Sure. So I have an abbreviated financial report for everyone. It's a brand new fiscal year as of July 1st. And so you'll see our appropriated amount, our expended year to date, and then the balances of our gift account, our state aid to public libraries account, and our copier account. And if you were looking, comparing from June to July, July is when we annually renew our CW Mars membership.
Okay.
And so that's why you'll see a significant drop in the state aid account.
Okay.
That's the dues are paid for out of that account. That allows us to participate in the Central Western Massachusetts Regional Systems Catalog.
So this figure here represents after you've paid
Yes.
the CW Mars?
Yes, that's correct.
That still leaves you some.
Yes.
I thought it
we have a
might,
little
I thought it
cushion.
might eat up almost all of it.
It was starting to for
I
a
thought
few
so.
years
Yeah,
there.
that's why I
Yeah,
didn't bring it up.
yeah.
For a few years there, it was starting to. But
But
if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me.
do you feel you're in pretty good?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
It looks to me like you are,
Yes.
but you know it's coming down the pike, so.
Any questions for Layla?
That's all I had.
All right. In that case, then
Thank you for that.
I need
Oh, you're welcome.
a motion to accept her written report.
I'll make a motion to accept the written report. It was very good.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
David? Any further discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving right along. New business. We don't have anything this evening. So we can go on to old business, which brings us to category 6A, refunds.
And so I did highlight on the back of the draft borrower's policy, the phrase, I should say the instructions regarding refunds. As we had discussed the past 2 or 3 meetings, there is a significant amount of accounting paperwork that has to be maintained for refunds. A lot of libraries do not give them. It's an issue of if you lost the item, you paid for the item, you then find it, will you own it now? So I was just wondering what everyone's thoughts were on that. In fact, it doesn't come up very often, but when it does, we often don't have adequate cash on hand.
Sure.
And so have to kind of juggle and scramble to figure out how are we going to accommodate this person.
So-
There's also the, oh, I'm sorry.
If I may, what is the length of time between the due date and when it's considered, a material is considered lost? What is, I know you notify them after the due date.
Right, so you'll receive email or text message reminders, whichever one you sign up for. For new items, it's one renewal.
Yep.
For items that are no longer considered new, you get 2 renewals. Then after that, it's an additional notification when it turns to being what we would call overdue into being lost and billed. And so the total length of time for that can depend on the material, but it's usually between 4 and 6 weeks. We try to work with people as best we can. If they call us and say, I'm still looking for the book, I'm not sure where it is, it might be at my mother's house in Springfield, we'll renew again if we can, if it's something that we own. If people reach out to us, we try to work with them as best as we can.
Yeah, go ahead, Cindy, you had a question?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, one of the other problems is if somebody finds the book after a certain length of time, it may not be in good enough condition to even put in the collection, so it's lost to us.
Right.
And there is quite a lot of staff time in the paperwork process, so it adds to the cost of it as well. So I should think that maybe after a certain period of time, maybe they own the book and it cannot be returned.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if the length of time should be longer than just what we deem lost, or an additional month maybe, or whatever.
Are books always replaced? Or
No,
sometimes
no.
you just keep the money?
No.
Well, we wouldn't keep the money. We would use it for something different in the collection. We wouldn't replace it for the exact same item necessarily.
You might not be able to get the exact same
Yeah.
item.
So I'm just, not to be weird about it, but why wouldn't we just be hard and fast about once you pay for a book?
We could do that.
If you find it,
Yeah.
you paid for it, we've recycled your money, we don't keep a lot here,
Right.
you know, and you could even tell them when they have to pay that, like, you know, it's, if you find it, it's yours, and then that you know, saves you all the grief of being kind and generous.
David, you have any thoughts on
No.
it? Pretty much on the same.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think that's
Unreasonable?
unreasonable. No.
Not that I want to put words in your mouth.
No, no.
They are.
There they are.
Melanie, you
I
what are
agree.
your
I
ideas
think,
on it?
like I said before at the last meeting, I think it is a paperwork hassle, and like you said, we don't keep cash on hand all
Right.
the time to be making those transactions. So, yeah.
Ginny, do you have anything? You concur with the majority of people here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I found one. So.
I guess it's yours.
And it is a problem because families are not necessarily all in one place anymore. Families are sometimes here sometimes and there sometimes and another place sometimes. So things can get misplaced and it might take a little while for it to come together.
Well, with all the notifications that
Right, I get it.
everybody's received, it's kind of like,
You have time
this
for
is,
it.
you know,
You have time,
you
yes.
have to draw that line.
Yeah.
So,
So the
I-
question is, where's the line?
yeah,
Okay.
and so, I mean, our director knows more the line
Right.
and when it should be, looked at. But based on like my research, which I gave you the last time, what happens is there are no refunds, and there's a processing fee.
Yeah.
There's a processing fee. It's not just the amount for the book, what have you. All the other libraries that I happen to look in their borrowing policies, if you have to pay for the material, you have to understand that what the staff has to go through behind the scenes in order to take them off the shelf and then and so forth. So they charge, it's like a $5 processing fee. So I'd like to myself I kind of like that idea, as far as no refunds, and if it's lost, there has to be a processing fee. So,
Recoup that money.
yeah, and we're talking, individuals that are working
Because you
here.
not only have to get it out of the collection to say you don't have it anymore, but you also have to replace it with something maybe along the same lines
Yeah,
or
yeah.
So are you
Right.
suggesting that they pay the price of the book plus $5?
Yes,
Well, currently, just to clarify Diane's description of the processing fee, our fees when we catalog the book and we enter it into CW Mars, it will say the 30-day diet, $28, for example. That includes the processing
Processing
fee. So it wouldn't be an additional $28 plus $5. It's already incorporated in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the people get the book back and it says $22.95, but they get charged $28. Aren't they gonna go, why are you charging me more than the
Oh, we
book?
we get those questions quite a bit. People also want to go on Amazon and say, "Oh, I lost this book. It says I owe you $28, but I can get it on Amazon for $10." Well, a lot of times those are used. We won't add the used version, or it's a different edition, or it's something very outdated. So we don't accept items from Amazon. That's just one example of people do try.
I used to get the question quite a bit if, let's say, they lost a paperback
Mm-hmm.
and they could get the very same title and bring that in to replace the one they lost.
Then they should.
Well, I would let them. Thank you very much, Michael. But then again, you're not charging them at that point for a processing fee, but you could.
Right.
Oh, right.
We don't.
You know,
We
I
don't
mean-
accept that. Maybe this has changed since you worked
No,
here.
it would just come up once in a while.
Oh, sure.
And so
Okay.
if it did, and it would have to be the very same thing, and I think sometimes we did charge a $5 fee. You can replace it, but you owe $5.
Yeah, because
Or
then
whatever.
we would still have to put the barcode
Yeah.
on
Absolutely.
there
You have
and
to
the,
do-
put
you
the
have to do
protective
all-
cover.
libraries, the sticker, and
And you have to take the one that's lost out. Plus, you've already done all
the
the
catalog system. Right.
paperwork to tell them it's lost.
It's
Yeah.
time consuming.
It's very time consuming, and time. It's staff time, which is money.
I think for the purpose of being trustees, we should have rules that we agree on. But just in the course of human events, if somebody goes, I know it's late or whatever, I mean, you should have some discretion of like,
Absolutely.
if they say like, look, I'll get it to you tomorrow, I know it's, you just go, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what.
But,
That's
what
but
happens.
for our purposes, it should be, we make the rules
Well, I mean,
and somebody else can take things on a case by
there's
case
rules
basis
throughout
and
everything,
give people a
and
break.
there's also
Right.
exceptions to rules at times.
Yeah,
Rules are the
There's-
guidelines.
right.
sometimes there's extenuating circumstances.
Or there's also CW Mars rules, which we have no control over.
Right.
So we have
It's
to
2
abide by
o'clock
those
in the
as well.
morning. The baby's coming. Do you go through the red light or not?
So I think we have individuals that would make a good judgment, make a good call as
That's
to
what you
the
pay professionals for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
So
think.
You hope.
so we're in agreement that there'll be no refunds once they pay for the lost item.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It is with me.
It is, so we need to make a motion with regards to that so that they can change the language can be changed on number 4 of our draft, our borrower's policy draft. So that it does not, that 3 months, we are not going to refund, not.
I make a motion that the East Long Meadow Library change the policy of issuing refunds if a person locates an item and returns it to the library, and it would just be considered lost, and the patron would own the book at that point.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, so the borrower's policy, of which what we just passed was part of, and I see there was, to reflect the change we made with regards to the DVDs, the 10 cents a day.
And can I just say, people have been thrilled.
Have they been
Good.
thrilled?
Thrilled
good,
with that
good.
change.
Okay.
And we tried our first fine-free
I was gonna ask that.
Friday.
Yeah.
And we had one young man who had an overdue video game, and those are $1 a day. Did not have to pay the $3 because it was 3 days late. He was ecstatic. We heard nothing but positive comments. There was a little bit of confusion in the way the flyer was worded. They thought that they were going to have all of their fines forgiven, even old
It was
fines.
already on their account.
But what it applied
your
to was
whole
the
account
things
is
that were
clear.
returned that day.
No.
Patrons were very happy about it. We received back quite a few items. Staff thought that were previously considered very overdue. So that's good. We always want to get our materials back so that we can keep lending it out. But so we're hoping it catches on even more, and I'll be able to report back more each month as time goes by.
Good, good. So that's good to hear, and
How is that gonna reflect with this policy? So let's say you get something back that's very overdue that you already have deaccession from the library. And,
Well, it would, yeah, that would be considered billed, and so it doesn't apply to billed items.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but it applies to like this young man with the video game.
Yeah.
He was only 3 days late, but that's $3, which
Oh,
is
sure.
a lot when you're 13.
Oh, yeah.
And so
It's a lot when
he,
you're, what,
that's true. It's a lot for some people, no matter how old. But so that was a good example where he brought in his materials. He was just a little bit late,
sure.
and it really was a great customer service experience for him.
Yeah, I bet it was for a lot of people.
Great.
And how is the Saturdays going?
Wonderful.
And are you getting good positive
Yes,
feedback from
very
that?
positive feedback from town residents. People are thrilled that we're open on Saturdays during the summer now. Couldn't be happier. I was at the summer reading kickoff. Heard a lot of comments about, we're so happy that you're open in the summer. That's great. That's when we really need you. So on and so forth. So it's been going very well.
And it's been being taken advantage of.
Yes,
People.
yes, particularly the children's department.
Yeah.
The children's department is packed. They got the word out quickly. The patrons are families that use the children's department regularly. The first Saturday that we were open was
So it was a busy day from
Yes.
the first day.
yes.
So let me, pardon my ignorance with regards to the children's department. On a Saturday, are they doing the same thing as Monday through Friday? No. Okay, so what happens is it's limited service for the summer reading program.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're open so that people have access to the materials, they have access to the computers. They can come in and turn in their summer reading logs. We just aren't holding special events or activities on Saturdays.
You don't have the manpower to
enough.
do
No,
that.
we don't.
Staff
But that's
to
been
do it.
enough to just have those hours that we're open to the public.
Yeah.
Great.
People are really excited about it.
And are there volunteers working on Saturday as well?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
the
so
youth
that's
volunteers
great.
are working on
That's great.
Saturday too.
Wow.
I would be very hard to accommodate the numbers that are in that
Right.
children's reading program without this volunteer program.
Wow.
And they really, really help for the most part, and they're very conscientious.
And parents were really glad that we had volunteer shifts available on Saturday. Because if they're working
Yeah.
during the week, it's
They
really
can't
difficult
get
for
them.
them
Right.
to get the youth here. So
Yeah, so I bet those were popular times.
yeah, those filled up the quickest.
I didn't mean to get off track.
No, no. These are great questions, so that our audience knows what's going on at the library in order to better serve our patrons
Yes.
and so forth. No,
Yeah, it sounds all positive
not a
to me.
problem.
Do the volunteers get a certificate or anything?
They do.
They,
Oh,
They
yeah.
get
Oh,
a
they get
certificate
quite a bit.
and a party at the end.
They get their own party,
Wow.
and they get prizes.
No, I was
Nice.
just thinking
Their own
about a
raffle.
certificate so that they might be used in the school.
Oh, yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
the school library or something.
Sure.
Some of the teachers
starts
even
in.
give them like a homework-free day, or some of the
You're
teachers.
right.
Oh, really?
Did you notice that? Yeah. So the schools have been really cooperating, and I that's one thing I love about this community, because the different departments come together
Mhm.
and are approachable. And like, you know, the schools have pushed the reading, have been very cooperative with the reading program, and everybody's on board with trying to get kids to read over the summer, because everybody recognizes the importance that education doesn't stop when school stops. You know, and it takes everybody's input to grow a reading community. So it's a great thing.
Sounds great. It sounds like another great summer
Oh,
going on
Oh, yeah.
here at the
For sure,
library.
libraries rock.
Yeah.
You can see it.
There was an article on TV at one point saying that how many books are in a person's library for their children depends on that the intelligence of the child can go up like 25%,
If not more.
if not more. But they were just saying
Yes.
that, which I thought was
Oh my
very
gosh, it's so
interesting.
true.
I said, go count your library books. Go count your books.
Okay, continuing with the borrowed policy, it was just section F, a little more clarification, a little more specific as to, it's discussing as far as confidential information for our patrons.
So
And
only
so-
Layla has to go to jail.
Only I would have to go to court.
So this is very specific as to what Massachusetts general law, where you can find it, where you can locate that that an individual's identity will not be considered public record. I just thought it was very important to have that in there. So, I mean, that's basically the 3 changes we've made to the policy, of which Layla has given us one last draft, I think. Does anybody have any questions or more comments with regards to that? No? No? Okay.
If you get a court order, who checks that?
If there's
You do?
the director, nobody but the director. And it has to be a proper, is it?
Like in proper form.
It'd
All
be a
the paperwork.
subpoena.
That would be a
It would
subpoena.
at that point.
The director.
Yeah, but only the director. And if somebody was, somebody of the law came in and so forth, somebody at the desk would have to get Layla
Right.
or,
Right.
contact her. They're not, it's hands off to them as far as the subpoena is concerned.
Have we had any problems with
No,
such?
no, we have not.
They have in different.
In the past.
Different places.
In
but
different
not
places,
here.
but not specifically us. And it did come up a couple of different times at the CW Mars large meetings that I attend called Users Council. There was a lot of concern about all of the data associated with patron records and addressing data, they call it data anonymization, because the library catalog could be hacked, just like any other online catalog could be. So we haven't had any, not specifically here, requests for circulation records or our catalog hacked to be a breach of privacy or anything like that, but it's happened in other libraries.
I think there was and I forget where it was, but a case where the FBI came in and
Yes.
wanted to find out about this person's record if they had been looking for how to make a bomb and that kind
Certain
of thing.
books, yeah.
Yeah, so it has happened throughout
Right,
different areas of the United States. So this would cover
yes.
if this should happen here.
Now,
We never know.
Do we have a bomb section somewhere?
Of course.
We're not
we have
telling
all.
Michael.
that's confidential.
Why do you want?
No, I'm just gonna ask Layla, because this goes way back, years back, with the Patriot Act. Now, is that still in effect, or
The
is that
Patriot Act is
kind of,
no longer in effect, but they've replaced it.
okay,
And I can't remember the name. Do you remember the name of the new
No.
act that they replaced it with? But the Patriot Act itself is not in effect, but that they tried to include library records, they being the federal authorities who wrote the Patriot Act, and librarians
They were up in arms.
were up in
about
arms and opposed this and were able to
it. It's not in
maintain
there now, correct?
maintain our code of ethics, our rules, our local laws protecting patron privacy. And it's been some years since I've reviewed the Patriot Act, so I would have to review it again to answer your questions.
Sure.
But the Mass General laws that Diane suggested we include here covers that too.
so the Mass General laws
Protects
actually
your privacy.
protects, and is even above the federal, whatever that, you know.
Level.
I don't know. I don't know that I should answer legal questions. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm not
okay,
sure.
okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I'm not
I just-
sure.
At least the state has the
Right.
library covered.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. So at this point in time, I'd like a motion to accept the borrower's policy with the changes that we've all seem to be in agreement with, so that we can make this an official document that Layla and the staff can use if they need, if need be. So,
I'll make a motion to accept the borrower's policy as of July 18th,
okay.
And I'll second it.
as revised here. Thank you.
We're a good team.
We are. We are. But it's-
All right. As always, our policies are reviewed, and if there needs to be some tweaking to our policies and brought up to date, we do look them over, make sure that they
and are still relevant.
relevant. Yep. All right.
Things change.
Yeah. Well,
Quickly.
every day.
You never know.
Every day. Okay.
It's a little spring if you get.
Okay. One other item here is other business, and we turn to Melanie with regards to the Library Friends news. Got
No, we
anything
still-
for us?
Just the summer reading, the summer paperback book sale.
Oh,
is
okay.
Still ongoing and nothing because it's summertime and they'll
Yeah.
restart in September, of course.
Okay.
Nothing
Yeah.
right now. It's quiet.
It's kind of
Nice and quiet for the summertime.
yeah. We're in the
And
friends
the news
are
is
in a
good.
lull.
And the membership is still holding.
Yes, it is. The membership is
Yeah.
so good.
Good.
It's up in the high 300s.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have the number right here.
Oh, you do?
384, 370.
Look at that.
I have to report it.
Well, on your airs.
Yep.
378. That's my guess.
Yeah, and you're sticking to it.
Sticking to it.
I just had to put it in, so I know it's in here. Oh, here we go. 385 current memberships.
It's in the summer.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. So anyway, if there's no other business to attend to, I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. All
And I'll second it.
All right. Meeting is adjourned.